Hey, I have to share something here because I think this is so important. I am in a very blessed position where I get to read people's gratitude posts every day because we post gratitude in the Half Size Me community. I get to talk to people one on one that are learning new things and taking in new things. And what I see on the regular is people changing their stories. And the reason this is a blessing to me personally is because the more people you see changing their stories, it opens up the door to changing your own story. And it's a collective way of looking at things, but yet it reflects back on you in a very precise way, right? So if Jane can change her story, and I actually had somebody say this to me in one of our maintainers meetings, I'm learning that I don't have to be a binge eater. And for so many years, I identified as a binge eater. And who am I without that story? And I loved hearing her say this, right? What she's finally seeing is she could shed the story of being a binge eater. She could change that behavior. She could become something new and somebody new to herself. And so if that's true for her, what's true for me? What's true for all of us? See, that's the really cool thing. When you embark on this from a more inside out approach, when you're really looking at all, like I always say, how you choose to track calories, points, carbs, it's all so superficial and like kind of fleeting in and out, right? Where the real change happens in the Half Size Me community, in my opinion, is on the inside. It is the mental shift. It is the seeing things completely differently, opening up your mind to the change that's possible for you. And my heart is so warm because I just read another post from somebody today on our gratitude thread where she said for the first time in her life, she's in November and she would be eating all the foods and have this attitude of, I'll just get back to my things on January. She's like, but I'm not. She's like, I'm just eating normally. I'm eating like a normal person. I'm having treats. I read on our delayed gratification thread for our challenge, somebody said, this is the first time in my life I've had Pop-Tarts and treats and I don't feel guilt. And it's like, my heart is so light when I read these things because what I see is people are shifting their paradigm. They viewed themselves one way for so long. And then when exposed to challenges, other people's gratitude posts, a different way of viewing things, taking the program modules, they start to try different things. They start to personal experiment. They start to see themselves through a totally different lens. And I just want to encourage you, you maybe for years have said, I'm a binge eater. I'm an overeater. I'm an emotional eater. I'm somebody who can't be consistent, right? You've maybe said these things. And I just want to encourage you, even if you're not at the place where you're in the community, you're doing all this work, you're changing, and you really have seen proof of that in the past, I just want to encourage you, if nothing else, change the dialogue. Don't say you're anything. Say, I am a student of myself. I am learning. I am growing. I am capable of change. And the less you identify as being a specific thing, the more you open the door to the potential of learning how to do it differently. And when we label ourselves, if we say, I'm a mother, right? Yes, you are a mom for sure, but you are other things, right? You want to make sure that you don't get lost in one lockdown idea of who you think you are. You want to stay open and receptive to all of your potential growth and learning and your ability to change. I, for years, would never have believed I could maintain my weight or even lose weight not tracking calories or tracking some kind of numerical system in order to know I wasn't going over. Yet I have done it now for, I think I'm pushing 4 months. And that's huge for me. But in my mind, at one point in my life, I would have been very much like everybody else, where I would have had that story of who Heather was and not believing that I am capable of change. But because I see in the community so many people questioning their paradigm and shifting and trying new things, I know change is possible for me too. And that's the beautiful thing. I don't view this as anybody is above anybody else or further along. I view it as we're all constantly in a state of morphing into the newer version of ourselves, into the newer educated version of ourselves, into the person we were always working to get to. And it happens at the rate it happens, right? And it happens for everybody differently. But I just want to encourage you, try moving forward to not identify yourself as something negative that you don't want to see. It doesn't mean you have to say affirmations. You can just say simply, I am a student. I am learning about myself. I am capable of change and making progress. Because the sooner you can ditch that story of I'm a binge eater, I'm an emotional eater, I'm this, I'm that, you're gonna try, as weird as it might sound, you're gonna actually try to find proof that those things are true for you, versus if you were to ditch that label, even if right now you don't believe that that change is gonna be able to happen, or maybe you're not currently working on changing your thinking about that, doesn't mean you still have to identify as it. So I would encourage you to let that label go. You guys have a great day. I hope you understand how wonderful you are, how the ability to change exists within you. As long as you can be educated, you can grow and change. And how do you know you can be educated? Because chances are in some other area of your life, whether it's professionally, whether it's as a parent, you're constantly learning new things, right? You don't just walk into work every day and do the exact same thing. I mean, there's always going to be things to adapt and change too. So you're capable of it. And you see it in other areas of your life. You're also capable of doing it here. All right, guys, you have a wonderful day. Please like and subscribe, share the video, and remember that you are not fixed. You are not a fixed point that can never be altered. You absolutely can. You can have change in your life, and you just have to be open and receptive to it. You guys have a great one. I'll talk to you soon.